من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله يستعينه واستغفر ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear audiences, my friends, brothers and sisters who are watching this program through Facebook, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a great pleasure for me to appear before your Lordship with this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, and at the very beginning I express my deep gratitude and thanks to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us opportunity to get together with this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil. In today's Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, inshallah, we shall have a discussion on Surah At-Tin, Surah number 95. It is in part number 30. So as usual at the very beginning, inshallah, at first we shall have recitation and meaning of this surah, and inshallah then we shall have discussion of this surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is most merciful and beneficent. وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ, swearing by the fig and by the olive, swearing by the Mount Sinai and swearing by the holy Makkah, by the sacred town, by the holy town, holy Makkah. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. I have created man with the best way. ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. And subsequently I turned them from the highest to the lowest. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. But except those who have brought iman, who have brought faith, and as per faith, as per iman, who have done the good things, for them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has unlimited reward. فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ. What has made them to become a disbeliever? أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ruler of all rulers? Isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judge of the all judges? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said the truth, and His prophets and messengers have also said the truth, and we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is pure, who is sacred. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless our Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this was the recitation as well as meaning of Surah At-Tin. Surah At-Tin is Surah number 95 from the Holy Qur'an. This surah was revealed upon our beloved Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam during his prophetic life in Makkah. That is, our beloved Prophet's prophetic life is divided into two parts. One, first 13 years of prophetic life in Makkah, and last 10 years of prophetic life in Medina. So this surah was revealed in Makkah while our beloved Prophet had been living in Makkah. And at the very beginning of this surah, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown on four things. First, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown by tin. It is a fruit. In Bengali we say dumur, and in Arabic it is said tin, and in English we say it fig. So at the very beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by fig. Then He is swearing by zaitun, that is the olive. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by Mount Sinai, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by the holy town Makkah. And after swearing by four things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I have created man, I have created people in the best way, giving the best shape, giving the best appearances. The explanation of this verse is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created man as ashraful makhlukat. We the people are ashraful makhlukat. That is best among all the creatures. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created unlimited, innumerous creatures. Somebody says that there are 18,000 creatures in the world. Nauzubillahi min zalik. This is not true. This is not supported by any hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created innumerous creatures. That might be millions, that might be billions, or it is only known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how many creatures have been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if anyone says that there are as many as 18,000 creatures in the world, it is not true. It is not supported by any hadith. Being a Muslim, we shall believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created innumerous creatures, unlimited creatures. Nobody knows the number of creatures created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It might be millions, it might be billions, it is only known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, I was saying, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I have created man in the best way. I have created man by giving the best appearances. I have created man by giving them the best shape. That means, being a human being, we are ashraful makhlukat. We are best among all the creatures created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the next verse of this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. At first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that I have created people in the best way. I have created people giving the best shape. I have created people giving them the highest gradation. That is Ashraful Makhlukat. And in the next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. And subsequently, I turned them to the lowest. The man who is the best creation, who is the best creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has been declared Ashraful Makhlukat. But in the next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I turned them from the highest to the lowest grade. That means, in the explanation of this verse, it is crystal clear that all the people are sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Islam. When a child is born, even in a Christian family, when a child is born, even in a Jewish family, even when a child is born in the Hindu family, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them as being a Muslim. But subsequently, being influenced by their parents, being influenced by their teachers, they become Christian, they become Jews, they become Hindu, they become the believer of other religion. So the first explanation for becoming the Ashraful Makhlukat from the highest grade to the lowest grade is becoming a disbeliever. When a person becomes disbeliever on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when a person associate partners of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he becomes the lowest creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the highest grade. So the first explanation of these two verses of Holy Quran is that لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. A person who is a believer on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is the best creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if a person, that means if a person believes in Tawheed, oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he becomes the highest, he becomes the creatures of highest grade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means when a person associate partners of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when a person does shirk, when a partner associate a company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he becomes the lowest creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we say elaborately, it is crystal clear that the Christians are associating partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by determining Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam as the son of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Christians are associating with partner Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying that Isa ibn Maryam is the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nauzubillahi min zalik. So the Christians are making themselves at the worst creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by associating partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying that Isa ibn Maryam is the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nauzubillahi min zalik. Then come to the Jews. The Jews, we say Yehudi. The Jews used to say that Hazrat Uzair alayhi salam is the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nauzubillahi min zalik. The Jews, by saying Hazrat Uzair alayhi salam as the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are associating partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are making themselves from the highest grade to the lowest grade by associating partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now let us come about the Hindu. Admittedly, Hindus said that they have as many as 33 crore gods. Nauzubillahi min zalik. The Hindu used to worship idol and images made by themselves. By worshipping idol and images, the Hindus are associating partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by doing this they are taking themselves from the highest level, highest grade to the lowest grade. So the first reason of human being regarding coming to the lowest grade from the highest grade is by associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being a Muslim, being a believer, we must believe on at-tawheedu. What is at-tawheedu? Tawheed means imanun bi ilahi wahid. Tawheed means bringing faith on only one creature, only one creator, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawheed means bringing faith on only one creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now come to the next explanation. How a person be coming to the lowest grade from the highest grade. Second thing is that by doing munafiki, by doing hypocrisy. What is hypocrisy? What is munafiki? This has been the definition of munafiki. The definition of hypocrisy has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Suratul Munafiku in verse number 1. In Suratul Munafikun, in verse number 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ قَالُوا قالوا نشهد إنك لرسول الله والله يعلم إنك لرسوله والله يشهد إن المنافقين لكاذبون. In verse number 1 of Surah Al-Munafiqun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the definition of munafiq. That means the definition of hypocrite. إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ, when a hypocrite come to you, قَالُوا, they say, نَشْهَدُ إِنَّكَ لَرَسُولُ اللَّهِ. When a hypocrite comes to you, they say, we bear witness that you are the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahu ya'lamu innaka larasuluh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows very well that you are his messenger. Wallahu yashhadu innal munafiqina lakazibun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bears witness that the hypocrites are liars. So, in verse number 1 of Surah Al-Munafiqun, we find the definition of hypocrite. That means a person bearing hypocrisy used to tell a lie. So, second fault for coming to the highest grade to the lowest grade is doing munafiki, doing hypocrisy. A hypocrite believes Iman orally, verbally, but he bears enmity regarding Islam from his heart. So, whoever will do munafiki, whoever will be a hypocrite, he will be thrown from the highest gradation to the lowest grade as per Surah 3. And in today's explanation of Surah 3, we shall go to some relevant verses from the Holy Qur'an. At first, verse number 145 of Surah An-Nisa. In verse number 145, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Innal munafiqina fid darkil asfali minan nar walan tajid lahum nasira. Obviously, indeed, the hypocrites will be thrown in the depth of hellfire, and there they will not get any helper. No one will come to help them. So, doing munafiki, doing hypocrisy is so heinous that as per verse number 145 of Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that the hypocrites will be thrown in the depth of hellfire, and there they will not find any helper. No one will come to help them. Next relevant verse of today's tafsir is verse number 44 of Surah Al-Furqan. In verse number 44, Surah Al-Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Am tahsabu anna aksarahum yasma'una aw ya'qilun inhum illa kal an'ami balhum adallu sabila. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying very clearly, O Prophet, do you think that the non-believers will hear your invitation and they will understand your invitation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Inhum illa kal an'am. They will not hear your invitation. They will not accept your invitation of Tawheed, because they are as like as a cattle. Balhum adallu sabila. Moreover, they are astray. They are in the wrong way. In this verse number 44 of Suratul Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comparing the non-believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comparing the disbelievers of Islam with the cattle, with the animal. More than animal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in verse number 44, Suratul Furqan. If a person, he does not accept Islam, he ever might be more wise, he ever might be the wisest in the world, but in the eye of Sharia, in the eye of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if a non-believer, if a disbeliever of Allah, if a person who does not accept Islam, he is as like as an animal. He is as like as a cattle. Verse number 44, Suratul Furqan. And next relevant verse in today's Tafsirul Quran Mahfil with Surah 10 is verse number 5, Suratul Jumu'ah. In verse number 5, Suratul Jumu'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving an example that the Old Testament before the Bible, that is the Torah. Torah was revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon his messenger Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. But the community of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, that is the Jews, they did not follow the rules and regulations given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Torah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with the donkey, donkey. Suppose a donkey used to carry things over his back, and he does not know what is on his back. And the Jews, the community of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, who did not follow the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given through Torah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compared them with the donkey. And in the next part of this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Bi'sa masalul qawmil lazina kazzabu bi ayatillah. And that community who does not believe in Qur'an, who does not believe on his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is worse. He is worst community. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Wallahu la yahdil qawma az-zalimin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide the person who is unjust. The unjust people are not guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, in the earlier verse of number 44 of Suratul Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compared the non-believers with the cattle. And here in verse number 5 of Suratul Jumu'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comparing the non-believers of Holy Qur'an with the donkey. And in next relevant verse in today's tafsir, at the very beginning of this Tafsirul Qur'an Mahfil, I said that we, the people, are ashraful makhlukat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created innumerous, unlimited creatures. And among all the creatures, we are the ashraful makhlukat. And if we the man, if we the people believes on Tawheed, if we believe on oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means if we become mu'min, if we become believers, our grade will be very higher. And in verse number 4 of Surah At-Tahrim, we shall find a gradation list. We the people, where is our position to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In verse number 4, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, In tatuba ilallahi faqad saqad qulubukuma wa in tazahara alayhi fa inna Allahu wa mawlahu wa Jibril wa salihul mu'minin wal malaikatu ba'da zalika zahir. In verse number 44, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken us in the gradation list of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the angels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَإِن تَزُوهَرَ عَلَيْهِ فَإِنَّ اللَّهُ وَمَوْلَاهُ وَجِبْرِيلُ وَصَالِحُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given our position, given the position of the mu'min, given the position of the believer after Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, after Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, wal malaikatu ba'da zalika zahir. That means as per verse number 4 of Surah Tahrim, a believer who becomes a mu'min by following the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and by following our prophets, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a mu'min becomes before the general angels. A status of a mu'min is before the malaika, before the angels. And for this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here has stated the name of mu'min after Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam. وَإِن تَظَاهَرَ عَلَيْهِ فَإِنَّ اللَّهُ وَمَوْلَاهُ وَجِبْرِيلُ وَصَالِحُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ ظَهِيرٌ. So it is crystal clear. If we bring faith on oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we bring faith on Tawheed, and after bringing faith in Tawheed, if we follow the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as per shown by our Prophet, that means if after bringing Iman we follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our status is before the angels. Allahu Akbar. So, being a Muslim, we always remember that we the believers who used to follow the rules and regulations of Islam regularly, his position is before the general angels. Allahu Akbar. So I was saying, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created man giving the highest gradation, and because of their misdeeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing them in the lowest grade, and coming from the highest grade to the lowest grade, among the reasons, one of the first reason is by associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second reason is by doing munafiki, by doing hypocrisy. And here we shall find another reason for coming from the highest level to the lowest level in verse number 41 to 47 of Surah Al-Muddassir. In Surah Al-Muddassir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Anil mujrimin ma salakakum fi saqar qalu lam naku minal musallin wa lam naku nut'imul miskin wa kunna nakhudu ma'al khaidin wa kunna nukazzibu biyawmiddin hatta atana al-yaqin. If anyone of us who has gone to behind the bar, who has gone to the jail, they have experience. When a person is thrown behind the bar, when a person is sent to the jail, the other prisoners used to ask him, what is the reason of you for coming here? What offense you have done? And like that, whenever a person will be thrown in the hell, when a person will enter in the hell, the angels of hell will ask them, Anil mujrimin, about the criminals, about the sinners, about the offenders. Ma salakakum fi saqar. The angels of the hell will ask them, what is the reason you have been thrown in the hellfire? Qalu lam naku minal musallin. They will say, we are not among the person who used to offer prayer. We do not establish regular prayer. Now we are finding another reason for coming to the lowest grade from the highest grade, non-performance of regular prayer. If a Muslim does not offer 5 times prayer regularly, he will be caught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here in verse number 43, the inhabitants of hell will say that they did not offer prayer. They did not offer prayers. This is the first reason for entering to the hell. And second reason is what? وَلَمْ نَكُ نُطْعِمُ الْمِسْكِينَ. And they will also say that we did not make charity in the way of Allah. We did not give food to the poor person. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ. And we were among the ill talkers. Whenever any person used to say against Islam, we used to join them. وَكُنَّا نُكَذِّبُ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. And we did not believe regarding the day of judgment, regarding the life of hereafter. Hatta atana al-yaqin. And in that position we died. So coming from the highest level to the lowest level. Another reason is non-performance of 5 times prayer, non-establishing 5 times prayer, not giving food to the poor person. That means do not making charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they used to talk against, whenever any person used to talk against Islam, they used to join them. And in that position, and they used to did not believe in the life of hereafter. Being a Muslim, we must believe on 3 things. All the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and messengers who were sent by him, they used to preach 3 things. They used to preach 3 things. 1, at-tawheedu. All the prophets and messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who were sent in the world, they at first spread the invitation of Tawheed, the invitation of oneness of Almighty Allah. Allahu Rabbuna wa Rabbukum. All the prophets, all the messengers used to say that Allah is my creator, Allah is also your creator, Allah is the creator of all things, follow my advice. And thirdly, they used to say about the Akhirah, about the day of judgment. So, coming to the lowest grade from the highest grade, and then one of the reason is disbelieving on the day of judgment, non-believing in the life of hereafter. Being a Muslim, we must believe, we must keep belief that our span of life is very limited. After completion of this our span of life, we shall face our death. We shall meet our death. And whenever we will die, after our death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will again alive us. And He will take accounts of our all activities we are doing in this world life. So the coming from the highest grade to the lowest grade, one of the reason is disbelieving on the day of judgment. If a person does not believe on the day of judgment, he is throwing himself from the highest grade to the lowest grade. So, in Surah At-Tin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created people as Ashraful Makhlukat, giving the highest gradation, giving them in the gradation list, in the top of the gradation list, but by doing kufri, by not believing in Islam, by not accepting in Islam, they are throwing themselves from the highest level to the lowest level. Secondly, by doing hypocrisy, they are throwing themselves from the highest level to the lowest level. By non-performance of 5 times prayer, they are taking themselves to the lowest grade from the highest grade. By not making charity in the way of Allah, they are taking themselves from the highest grade to the lowest grade. And by disbelieving on the day of judgment, they are taking themselves from the highest level to the lowest level. And in the next verses of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ. But those who have brought belief, who believes in Islam, and as per their belief, they are doing the good things, they will be given reward unlimited. فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, what has made you in disbelieving the oneness of Almighty Allah? And in the last verse of this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of this surah, in the last verse of this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ruler of the rulers? Isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judge of the judges? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best judge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best ruler. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not do injustice to any person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give every person due reward. And in this verse, the relevant another verse is Suratul Zilzal, verse number 7 and 8. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. If anyone do any good, he will be given reward. And if anyone does any evil, he will be punished. That means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unjust. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not injustice with anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give due reward to every person who will do righteous things, who will do good things in the life of here. And if anyone will do bad things, even all the wrongdoers will be given due punishment. So in today's Tafsirul Quran Mahfil, now we shall have some relevant hadith. An Jabir radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam bainal abdi wa bainal kufri tarkus salah, rawahu Muslim. So I was saying that the reason for throwing from the highest gradation list to the lowest position, one of the reason is non-establishment of regular prayer. And here this hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Jabir radhiyallahu anhu. He said, our beloved Prophet has said, bainal abdi wa bainal kufri tarkus salah. If anyone leave regular prayers, he is making a communication with the kufr, with the disbelief. So, being a Muslim, we must believe that offering five times prayer is mandatory to us. Intentionally leaving 5 times prayer is very much heinous offense, and this non-performance, non-establishment of regular prayer join us with the kufr. And next hadith in today's tafsir, relevant hadith in today's Tafsirul Quran Mahfil is An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala Allah ta'ala anfik ya ibni adama unfiku alayka muttafaqun alayhi. This hadith has been narrated, this hadith has been inserted both in Bukhari and Muslim. And Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, this hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. He said, our beloved Prophet has said, and this is hadith Qudsi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, is saying that, "Oh my servants, you spend for me and you will be given." Sometimes we the Muslims think that if we make charity in the way of Allah, our property will be lessened. We will lose our property. No. By making charity in the way of Allah, we are not losing our property. Moreover, we are earning more property. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, "Qala Allah ta'ala, anfik ya ibni Adam, unfiku alayka." If you spend in the way of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you more and more property. Rawahu Bukhari wa Muslim. An Anas radhiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, "Inna as-sadaqata la tadfa'u ghadaba rabbi wa tadfa'u mitata as-su." Rawahu Tirmizi. Charity in the way of Allah, it extinguish the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it protects from evil death. Rawahu Tirmizi. Suppose we have done a very great sin, but we do not know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very much angry upon us. But whenever we make charity in the way of Allah, the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calm down. And if anyone makes charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects him from evil death. Rawahu Tirmizi. And Marshad bin Abdullah radhiyallahu anhu qala, "Haddathani ba'da ashab Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam innahu sami'a Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam yaqul, inna zallil mu'mini yawmal qiyamati sadaqatuhu." Rawahu Ahmad. If anyone makes charity in the way of Allah, this making charity in the way of Allah will be shed during the day of judgment upon his head. Allahu Akbar. We know on the day of Qiyamah, on the day of judgment, there will be no shade except the shade of throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this hadith, Rawahu Ahmad, if anyone makes charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his charity will be shed during the day of judgment for him. Allahu Akbar. I was saying about the hypocrites, munafiki. This hadith is relevant hadith with munafiki. An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu qala, an Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala, ayatul munafiki salasun, idza haddasa kadhiba wa idza wa'ada akhlafa wa idza tu'mina khan. Rawahu al-Bukhari. This hadith has been inserted in Bukhari. This hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. He said that our beloved Prophet has said, there are three signs of a munafiq. There are three signs of a hypocrite. One, iza haddasa kaziba. A hypocrite used to tell lie. Second, wa iza wa'ada akhlafa. When they make promise, they break it. Wa iza tu'mina khan. Whenever they are trusted with anything, they betray. Rawahu al-Bukhari. Now, there is a hadith. Sometimes we say in our society, it is found that people used to talk a lot. They speak a lot, and they think that by speaking a lot, they want to be smart and smarter. But Islam does not allow this. Speaking irrelevant is completely prohibited in Islam. And here in this hadith, an Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khairan aw liyaskut, rawahul Bukhari. This hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. He is saying the person who believes in Allah, who believes on Allah, who believes on oneness of Almighty Allah, and who believes on the day of judgment, must speak well, either speak well or remain silent. Sometimes we speak a lot and we think that by speaking a lot we will be smart, people will determine us, people will call us smart. No, Islam does not allow this. You will speak whenever it requires. That means we must speak regarding relevant fact. We must not speak on irrelevant fact. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here our beloved Prophet has said, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhiri falyakul khairan aw liyaskut. Those who believe on Allah and on the day of judgment must speak well, either he will speak well or remain silent. And last hadith in today's tafsir is, Qala Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam man samata naja, who remain silent will be saved. Man samata naja, who keeps silence, he will be saved. He will get najat, he will be saved. Man samata naja, who remains silent will be saved. Allahu Akbar. So, this was the tafsir of Surah At-Tin, Surah number 95 from the Holy Qur'an. So may Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us opportunity to follow the rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in Holy Quran and in Sahih Hadith. Now we shall have prayer to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us recite Durud Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma amin. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب هب لي من الصالحين رب زدني علما Astaghfirullah. Oh Allah, some of your servants have joined in this Tafsirul Quran Mahfil. There are so many wrong in recitation, in giving meaning of the surah, in explaining. There are many wrong. Please forgive our all wrongs and accept our this Tafsirul Quran Mahfil. Please make this Tafsirul Quran Mahfil for Najah in the day of judgment. O Allah, please increase our sustenance. O Allah, increase our knowledge of Holy Quran and Sahih Hadith. O Allah, we who among us have raised our hands to you, please forgive our all sin, and include us among your saved servant, among your righteous servants. Insert us among your forgiven servants. O Allah, we are doing many sin in our daily life, either knowing or unknowingly. Please forgive us, forgive our all sins. Please give us, permit us, so that we can follow your rules and regulations revealed in the Holy Qur'an and Sahih Hadith. Please make our family members as the pious people, as your pious servants. Please make us as your righteous servants. And with the people who have raised our hands to you, please fulfill our all desires of our heart. And please accept our all the prayers. Please give us all the welfare which was sought by your beloved Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Please make our all the good things accepted. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.